Let's try that again. Greetings, greetings, and salutations, one and all. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the night shift. Happy hump day to you. Happy first day of spring. What a day for the first day of spring to fall on hump day. I'll leave it. I won't get any further with it. Greetings and salutations, one and all. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. Those tuned in on TuneIn Radio, the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, rockthebox.net, the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, across the pond, One Harmony Radio. Top of the morning to you guys over there. And our new family members over at WJLRO, big ups, big ups, big ups to you. Welcome to the family, and thank you for inviting me into yours. Thank you to those tuned in on PEMGTV.com, and of course, the home of the night shift right here, KevinStew.com. Big ups to you. I see some of you guys piling up in the stew pot. I tell you, bring your friends on in. The water is always fine in the stew pot. Kicking it off with a little Jessa Lee. Young Jessa Lee Caldero. All those that don't know how to spell, Jessa Lee taking care of it. Jessa Lee say it's all about the SOCA. All about the soca. I want to say thanks to Pulse Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the show. When being in the moment is priceless, I want to give them a link. 754-999-6020 gets you in touch, or pulseemg.com. They can capture your moments, they can stream your moments on a secure site. As a matter of fact, you can do what I do with the help of Pulse Media Group. Just call them, tell them DJ Kevin Stew sent you, and they can hook you up and you can start the negotiations and just give me my cut. I'm not fussy. So it's the first day of spring, it's hump day, and it's real talk. As a matter of fact, let me just call the show what it is. It's Marlon's show. Because this is Marlon's favorite show. Big ups to you, Marlon. Marlon Burrell, reggae music entertainer extraordinaire, host of Real Rockers, which airs just before I come on. So Marlon set the stage, and I carry it home. Basically, that's what happens. But right now, it's not about me, and it's not about Marlon. It is Marlon's favorite show, but you know what? It's my favorite show too. And tonight, Real Talk takes a slightly different look. We're still approaching things. See, Marlon, here we go. So, for those who don't know, soca is a hybrid word. Thank you, Marlon. See, not only is he a reggae music entertainer, he's just a music connoisseur all over. Talk to Marlon, he'll give you all the insights, and he has all the stories. Trust me. It's for soul and calypso. Soca. Get it? Cool. Thank you, Marlon, because I didn't know that. All this time I've been listening to soca, I didn't know that. And it's funny because it goes a little bit faster than calypso. But that is how the thing is set up. Alright, so tonight, as I was saying, tonight takes a slightly different format from the regular Real Talk. And we're still keeping the talk real. Because we are looking into how we relate to each other. And lately, there has been buzz about how the more affluent would get by with certain things, while the rest of us would end up in deep hot water if we did some of those same things. And on the line tonight, I have someone who has gone through some of that deep hot water, but has come out and has been on a journey and on the path to transforming mindsets. Of whom do I speak, you might ask? The one and only Kelley Williams-Bolar. Kelley.
Hi.
Yeah, man. Applause for you.
Thank you. Hi.
How are you, Kelley? You hearing me?
I am so happy to be on. Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Thought I lost you for a second there. How are you? It's been a minute. For the regular long-time listeners, hey Julian, hey 510, hey 299, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me not be ill-mannered. For those of you who are long-time listeners, you would have heard me talk to Kelley before. And this had to have been probably 5 years ago, Kelley?
Yes, probably. Yes, exactly. Yes.
That's a long time.
Yes, it was. But it was. I'm so glad that we did have an opportunity to meet at least once or so.
Yeah.
Communicate.
Yeah. That's right. And we managed to keep the link. For those of you who don't know, you can use a search engine to find out who Kelley Williams-Bolar is, and some of the things that she has gone through. But real quick, Kelley, I'm gonna let you do a quick refresher.
Okay, so in 2000, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for letting me come on tonight. I really, really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Now, in 2011, I did make headlines in regard to me and education. I sent my kids to my parents' school district, and it was illegal. It wasn't. I didn't do it in the way, or I didn't know any other way at that time, and so I did it, and it wasn't legal. And I sent them to the school, and they stayed there for 2 years. The second year, they realized that I didn't live there. You know, they got a private eye, and they watched me, and for maybe 2 weeks, I think it was like 2 weeks, they realized I didn't live in the area, and they asked me to leave or to pull my kids out. And me and my father had got something called a grandparent power of attorney, which at that time, I guess that was a little too late, so they didn't want that. So they went back to the judge, and then the judge just, in the month of June, the judge told us just to take the kids out. So I listened to the judge, and I removed them. But almost 2 years later, me and my father and my kids, they were not in the school. They had, I had taken them out when they asked me to take them out. But it was like, 18 months later, we received indictment. And I wasn't for sure exactly what the indictment was. It was, Kelley Williams-Bolar versus Ohio. And I never received an indictment before, so I didn't have a clue what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I received one, and my father, he also received an indictment. So we went to court. We sat in court. We realized it was Copley, Fairlawn City Schools, and the process began. Of course, I was charged with grand theft and tampering with documents. I went to jail for, I was sentenced to 10 days, but I served 9 of the 10. I was on 3-year probation. I had 70 hours of community service, 40 hours of some other counseling. It was, oh my gosh, it was like a long laundry list of things that I had to complete.
Right.
I had to write a letter to the judge. I had to report back to the to my probational PO every week, I think, at that time. Yeah. So it was a lot, and I went through a deep depression. And along the way, I did meet you, and I was able to come on and discuss that whole scenario with you. So, that was it, in that era. And since then, I've done a lot of things, since that point, because I've always been an advocate, not just for my kids, but for kids, period. I've always been an advocate for education,
right.
Equality, equality education across the board, So, yeah. That's the update.
And I thank you. That was a short version, folks. You can imagine we packed all that actually just packed into those 2, 3, 4 minutes. Was a whole 2 hours.
Yes.
It was something.
It was so traumatic because, again, I had never been in trouble. My father had never been in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And he was 65 years old. And when this happened, and of course they sent us to jail. My dad died in jail. He never came home. And it was just a whirlwind of different of the whole situation. Because, again, me and my father served. We had to we went before the jury and judge. We went to court at the same time.
Right.
But they couldn't find my dad guilty because my father never enrolled them. I did.
Mm-hmm.
But so the first day of court, they had to rush and hurry up and drop his charges.
Right.
Because he didn't do it. Just I did. So then, but the irony of it, the odd thing about it was, once you get into a scenario or a situation like that, the lion's den. Once you get in the lion's mouth, the lion's den, however you want to say it, they're just not going to just let it go.
Right.
And at that time, it was a lot of people that had heard about it, and they were calling in. I mean, the eye was on that town, so they were upset. So they started looking for anything for my father,
right.
And then they started saying, and then they started, like finding charges with them. And it was like, well, you didn't report your income for your disability. My father was sick. They said he stole $100,000 in medical, in medical, and my father was very sick. He didn't even think. He was like, this is not welfare. What are they talking about? And so like, again, when you get into a scenario like that, they're not just going to let it go. They're going to find something. And so they started finding something else on him. They sent my dad to the penitentiary. He had never been to, he was 65 years old. He had never been to the penitentiary.
Right.
And he died there. He never came home. He passed away in that kind of situation, 100 miles away from us, from his loved ones. And I know he was scared, you know. So a lot of things that I do it for my father. I do it for him, and I do it for myself, because first of all, I'm just, you know, I love kids, period. My kids, and just always fighting for equality across the board. I can go into detail and talk about, you know, when I was in jail, and I remember, you know, being in our area. They have these cubes, like these little cubicle areas, and so it was me along with 4 other ladies.
Right.
And I remember the 4 other ladies, you know, they were all, finally, when I decided to start talking, because I didn't talk to anyone for the first 3 or 4 days. But when I did start communicating with the ladies, you know, of course they would ask, well, what are you in here for? And then when I would tell them, they thought I was like kidding, or they thought, you know, they thought I was like mad or something. I'm like, no,
you're making up
honestly,
stuff.
Right. And I was like, no, it's the truth. You know, this is really what's going on. And the other ladies, you know, the thing about them was these women were hardcore. Like, they were prostitutes. They were embezzling from banks. And I mean, these women were
real criminals.
Yes, you know, and I was like, oh my God. So what I did was I just said, I'm just going to open my Bible, and I just read Psalms the whole entire time I was there. I just stayed with the Psalm. I just read the Psalms over and over and over and over again, and a couple other different parts of the Bible. But the Psalms, like 91 and 27 and 23, it really kept me grounded. It kept me strong, so I could get through that whole situation, you know, because it was definitely a hard time.
Now, you're talking about 10 days locked up. Well, 9 days locked up.
9 out of 10, yes.
And some people would look at that and say, but it's just a little over a week. But
but if you've never been, okay, first of all,
that's just it. Yeah. I'm trying to find the right words. If you've never had the experience.
Right. If you've never been, and then it's for this, and then it's not, and then it was like 100 cameras, and you would have thought this was a murder trial. So it was just really overwhelming for me. This wasn't like some petty situation where nobody knows, and you just go do your little 10 days, and you come out, and nobody ever knows, and it's all good. No,
this was a national thing.
Yeah, so it was really hard. First of all, I was always a private person. Okay, and then all of a sudden I got this mugshot, and this mugshot is going all over the country, and it was just a lot to deal with.
Right.
You know, and I was, like I said, I was a very private person, and then I had so much on my mind. I had my kids I had to worry about, and of course, you know, the probation. And if I had done anything wrong, I would have done 5 + 5 consecutive years, which would have been 10 years during my probation time. And when you have all of this pressure on you, it breaks you. You know, I love my family, okay, but I have some family members that, you know, maybe are, you know, that like some history in criminal. You know, they've done some things. So I remember them laughing at me. They were like, "Oh, girl, 10 days? What? That's nothing. I would have loved to have done 10 days. 10
there
days.
You go.
And they just, when I came home, they just laughed and laughed. And they tried to make me laugh. They tried to make me feel better. Because they was like, 10 days, oh, that's nothing, girl. You know, I do 10 days with my eyes closed, you know. And I'm like, whatever, not me. I didn't want to be there. And let me tell you, the experience, when I do remember the first day or two, they did not have me with the regular population.
Right.
They kept me in a whole other room for a while. They kept me in another whole room for a while. And I had my own room. I had my own bed. I had my own phone. I had my own everything. And they kept me there for a while. And then, of course, they were like, we can't keep her over here. We got to put her over in the regular population.
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you something. When I walked through the doors of the regular population, and I've never, ever thought to say this or to think this, it's never hit me. This is the first time and the last time it ever happened to me. When I walked through that door to go into the regular population with all these women, I smelled sin. And I said it to myself as I walked through the doors. I have never in my life could even put that together to think that way. But that day, when I walked through, I smelled sin. And I have never in my life smelled it since or prior. And it's a very distinctive smell.
I was going to ask if you can find words to describe it.
Excuse me?
I was going to ask if you could find words to describe it.
Okay. This is a very unique smell. So, how can I describe the smell of sin? Because if you only had it once, and then you never encountered it since, it's really hard. I guess maybe if you go into the bowels of hell, that probably would have a certain scent. So maybe that could be very similar. Because see, I'm very sensitive in a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but I have a sensitive way about myself where sometimes I'm just sensitive. I can't explain that either.
Right.
I think everyone is sensitive, but it just depends on if you tune into it or not, which I don't tune into it. But on a natural, it's just natural that sometimes I can feel things or sense things, but I've never smelt things. That was my first time I've ever smelt something of this nature, and it was mind blowing. But I knew. And like I said, I can't describe this to you, but believe me, it was sin. And I don't know how else I could,
right,
describe that. I don't know.
So basically, you step outside early in the morning where you have trees and you get crisp air. It's definitely not that.
No, it's definitely okay. It's not crisp air. It's not the 4 seasons that we have. Every season there's a smell.
Yeah.
Spring, you smell wet. You smell the
you
dew.
have
Summer,
4 seasons.
Uh-huh.
We here in South Florida, we have summer.
Right. So you don't smell the change of seasons.
Right.
There is a smell
Yeah.
to the seasons. The wintertime has, I'm in Ohio.
Right.
Wintertime has a smell, especially when the seasons are new, like when they're changing.
Yeah, like now.
And I don't know if anyone else has ever. I smell it. I know the seasons are changing. I can smell the snow. I can smell the crisp air. I can smell the fall when the leaves are wet,
are changing,
and they're changing. I can smell the summer in the morning. I can smell the spring, and I can just the seasons have smells, and so. It's easy to smell that. If you go by an ocean, if you can smell an ocean 2 miles away, you know you're getting close to the ocean. So I mean, it's
that we can relate to here.
Senses. Yes, there's senses everywhere.
So you smelt sin.
Yes.
What was the feeling like? Because there's one feeling when you are placed, when you get in those gates and you're put in an isolated area. That's one feeling. But now you're transferred to general population. Does the feeling change along with the smell?
Absolutely, because of course I was isolated, so therefore I was alone, and there was no one on that wing of the building. But as I walked through the doors and that smell hit me, And then they told me where my room was at, and it was on the second floor. So I went up to my room to the cubicle area. It was like a big, huge open space, but you could just but yeah. So I went up there, and I just kind of really was reserved. I stayed to myself. I didn't know anyone, no one I could gravitate to. I mean, I was in the county, so of course I'm sure I could have had easily. I could have had associates that I've known throughout life could have easily served at that time I was there. For whatever reason, but there was no one there that I knew. No one that I knew there at that time. And but I do want to say this is that when I was talking to one of the security guards, I remember telling them that this place smells like sin. She told me I was not the first person to say that. She said people have said that before. So, and like you said, how do you say that? Like, what would make me even think that? So it was really profound.
Yeah, that is phenomenal. I couldn't even.
Yeah.
I can't put a finger on it to say I can. Other than you saying going close to the ocean and you start to smell the ocean. And I've been to other states at other times of the year, and I smell the difference. I really do.
Yes. Every state is a different state of mind.
Yeah.
That's how, and every state has its own uniqueness to it. You're right. So you smell different. Like New York completely smells, you can smell New York,
Yeah. And Jersey. But you'd rather not. No
That's
offense
right.
to my Jersey family. Love you anyway. But yeah. But the feeling though, the feeling that goes with that. I know you said you went by yourself. And
yeah, the feeling I had when I walked through the door. Okay. So let's go back. As I was walking to go to the regular population, I had a book. I had a Bible. They gave me, you could pick. They had a box. You could pick different books, whatever your books you wanted to get to read while you're, serving your time. So first thing I saw was the Holy Bible. So I grabbed that. That was the only book I wanted. So I took that book as I was walking through, and I grabbed the book. Then I went up the hall, and I walked through the doors. As I said, I smelled that. I wasn't for sure, why that was so profound, but I kept it going. The lady told me to go upstairs. I went upstairs to my bed. I sat there. I was I was an emotional wreck. So the entire time, I cried a lot. I cried and I cried and I cried. I had to stop my whole life. Everything was flashing before me. My college, my education, my job, my kids. Are they going to take my kids away? Or, how are they doing now? How is my family doing? How is my dad doing? He was very sick. How is my mom doing? I was just worried. I was just really, really worried a lot about my family. I was worried about how I looked, because I was a very private person.
Right.
And I was just trying to, one thing about it is that you want to make a staple for yourself in your community, but not in the sense of, breaking the law or doing something, bad. You want to, you're trying to set positive examples in your community. And it just felt like at that time, it just, things weren't working out that way. It was going the opposite way. And it was like, what's going on? What is so wrong? So a lot of things was going through my mind. I was writing. I wrote every day. I wrote on a super long paper towel. Every single day I wrote what was going on and what I was feeling, what I was doing.
So you were journaling?
Yes, I journaled the whole entire time. Then I would draw every now and then, but I would journal for the majority of the time that I was there.
Right. And that helped with how you were feeling right?
Therapeutic. Absolutely.
Because
I mean, let me tell you something.
I don't journal, but I've always heard people talk about it. And what I do is talk.
Right. Well, I didn't journal either until I got to this big situation.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, so I started journaling, and it was so therapeutic that I ended up writing a book. And I wrote a book. I wrote an autobiography. And let me tell you the name. Now, this is serious and this is deep, because I never heard of this phrase either. So let me tell you what happened. So the first, I just have to say this, the first day of court, they have to select a jury.
Right.
A jury of 12 people that are supposed to be your peers, but these people were not my peers. But anyway, they select these men and women, and the prosecutor, I had two prosecutors. The one prosecutor, he walked past me and my father, and he made a phrase, he made a statement, and when he said the statement, it stayed with me forever. And I thought to myself, because at that point, I had already started, I hadn't started writing my book yet. But I was just taking a lot of mental notes.
Right.
This prosecutor looked over at me and my father, and he cut his eyes at us, and he looked at us, and he said, yeah, justice is just like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder. And I said, wow. I said, okay, that was a mental note. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep that. And I kept that in the back of my mind. So now the name of my book is called The Mom, but the subtitle is Justice. The subtitle is Justice is just like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder. Because I had never heard of it phrased that way.
Right.
So that was deep to me, because it basically was saying that you're going to judge us off of a status of a look.
Yeah.
Not, you see, and look at what happened 8 years later to now. So that's what I'm saying.
There
is that
you go.
You see how God works. I mean, I'm very spiritual, but I felt like this is deep, like, and this is so deep with the situation. And when people were sending me, I have so much information tonight. Oh my God. Okay, so. Because I'm just thinking about it, okay? And also, if anyone may want to read an autobiography, I do have the book. It is on Amazon. It's called The Mom, and it's Justice is just like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's the subtitle. And, of course, it's by me, Kelley Williams-Bolar. I did not have anyone, like what is it called, a ghost? I didn't have a ghostwriter. So,
right.
I just did it on my own, and I hope that, it will be to people's interest. But anyway, to kind of jump a little bit, I got a memo. I got a video of the FBI in California, and they had made a statement. And they had made a statement about the college scandal, and it was so interesting because he said, "In no way will these people be treated any different than any other citizen." And a light bulb went off, because at the same time he said that, they don't have a mugshot out. That in itself is treatment of a special kind.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And let me explain something. Tuesday night, last Tuesday, I started getting calls from people all over the country telling me that my situation was in their thread. That they were seeing my picture in their thread. And I was like, okay. So I didn't think anything of it. Every now and then, it'll pop up across the country, different areas, regions of the country. It will pop up. So I truly didn't think anything of it. And then the next day, mind you, Facebook and Instagram was down. Believe me, I totally believe it was strategic. Let me tell you why. Those two women, mind you, no one's seen a mugshot. They got them. And I believe that it was released, and then they got the FBI involved, and they were able to get those pictures retrieved. They shut social media down, so people couldn't access them.
You know, I didn't even think about that.
And I'm gonna tell you something else. Only reason why I even think that way is because, okay, so I like the Kardashians, okay? So
Right.
especially years ago when they were new to their show, and it was only 30 minutes long. Well, it was like their first or second season when something happened with one of the sisters, the oldest sister. She had some pictures out, and they got out, and what happened was the FBI came in and shut social media down and got all those pictures before they got out there. So that's how I knew last Tuesday. That's how I knew last Tuesday. I said, "Oh no!" I said, "Social media just didn't shut down. This was a big scandal. They made sure those mugshots didn't get out there, and they're still not out there."
Huh? Look at that.
Yes. Absolutely.
Who would have thunk it?
I know. Right?
You know, I never thought the whole time, you know, everybody speculated about virus this, virus that, but this is a whole different light that you're shedding on this situation.
That's money. That's power.
Yes, it is.
Because my picture, okay, and another thing is like, you know, like the other day I was at work, and the lady, me and a teacher, I work in a classroom, and the teacher, we were laughing about, you know, different things, just a regular normal day. And she tells me, and then all of a sudden, you know, we start talking about my situation.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah.
And is there everything okay?
Yes,
I heard
yes.
a noise.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then I heard, so we were talking, and she said, yeah, but I don't understand. Like, she didn't understand why I get upset, or I could get upset from time to time and have a emotional breakdown when I would see my mugshot go all over the country all over again, you know, as the years went by. And I had to explain something to her. I said, because she also had a situation in her past. So I explained to her, I said, most individuals that may have had a mugshot, you have to ask them, or you have to go research. You have to go look for it. You understand?
Right.
I said, me, it pops up, and then it come up maybe at a time where I wasn't ready for it. So it's forever. My mugshot is forever. It's
right.
forever. It's forever in the public's eye. And I'm fine with it now. But at a point, there was a point only a year or two ago where I went into, you know, it's easy to get thrown back into a situation of sadness, because it's like if I had done something.
Kelley? Hello? I think I lost Kelley for a moment. Kelley. All right. So here's what I'll do real quick. I'm just gonna run to a commercial real quick. Let me see if I can get Kelley back, and call your friends, tell your friends. It's real talk, and we're talking to Kelley Williams-Bolar. So I'm gonna see if I can get her back. Looks like we lost connection, but you know how these devices can get. And older siblings or older sibling is watching, so anything can happen. You know what I mean? So let me just quickly take a break and try to reconnect with Kelley. We'll be right back.
Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times. Pulse Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulsing Media Group.
Are you crazy about the music industry? You aspire to hit it big in music? Or maybe you've sweated out a soulful killer beat and are now stuck finding it's not as easy as it looked. Oh, but it can be easy for you with JTMC. We've been there, we know how it feels, so we solve challenges like production, promotion, marketing, branding and development, and more. With over 30 years of experience, JTMC is a one-stop shop for artists. We handle your graphic design, writing services, PR, as well as event planning, e-blasts, artist management, and bookings, so also your website and social media needs as well. We're experts in using creativity to persuade audiences on behalf of artists, drawing on our diverse experience to create projects that connect with audiences intellectually and emotionally. Artist success is everything to us, and our years of experience and commitment will be behind you for every one of your needs. If you've got music for the world to hear, whether you're a new or established artist, visit us at jtmcenterprise.com.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com, your links to worship and praise.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school,
In math,
I learned that I'm ugly
I
and
learned
useless.
that I'm trash.
And in gym,
In biology,
I learned that I'm
I
pathetic
learned that I'm fat
and a
and
joke.
stupid.
In history,
Today in
I learned that
school,
I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick.
And in
And
gym,
at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell.
and in
In
gym.
chemistry, I learned that no one
In
likes me.
biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
And in
I learned
math,
that I make people
I
sick.
learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today
The only thing I didn't learn today
The only thing I didn't learn
Is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Will DJ Kevin Stew sell his soul? That's a word and honor. It's Christine to represent.
Just that, holding on. She's been telling us her story from and tonight it's real talk. And typically those who listen to this show would normally hear this type of a show on a Monday in community, where a member of the community would get featured. And we're doing pretty much that. But we're looking at it in a different light. And coming towards the latter part of the show, you'll put it all together. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for sticking around. We don't know what happened just now, really and truly. We know Big Brother got some toys, and we don't know what those toys are capable of, but I don't put anything past them.
That's right.
It's really interesting what you said about social media shutting down the very next day after this thing broke, and a mugshot, not in circulation, but we see, you look on not on social media, but on search engines. Once your name is put in, you see you in prison garb, you being led out of court, you looking distraught, you trying to plead your case. These are the main ones. Everything
Absolutely.
else comes after.
Exactly. When you exactly. So it's like, and so people think, and like I said again, people would think, girl, but that's just you only did 10 days, and it's nothing, and it's not,
Right.
Right. I get it. I get it. And like I said again, if I had been a different scenario, different situation, and nobody basically knew, but maybe some close friends or something, and you never see my mugshot unless I told you about it, then you live in a whole different life.
Right,
but
right.
This here is forever. What I have is forever. That right there will never go anywhere. It's fine. I'm fine now, but every now and then it would affect me because, like I said, I work at a high school. I walk through the halls. I got peers. I got administrators. I got students. And then my mugshot comes through. They see it, and then they, oh, Miss Williams, you went to jail. Oh, Miss Williams, you got in trouble. Oh, and then they don't understand.
Right.
But, until they get enlightened, and then I'm able to explain to them. But, you get a lot of kids, that say things or whatever, and you just have to, I learned how to have tough skin just on the strength of people writing stories and don't know the whole deal in itself. But to walk through the halls of your employment, and when these pictures flare up, because it's like a flare-up, and it happens every so often. This one's the biggest flare-up ever, though. This one here, last Tuesday, it was, like, huge. But it's like a flare-up, and it just comes and it goes and it comes and it goes. And it's in different regions of the country. Because sometimes I have family in Florida, I have family in Georgia, I have family in California, I have family all over. So they'll call and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, your picture is circulating. What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know, but it's, maybe it's just
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's just hot right there. Maybe something's going on. Maybe something happened in the justice system in that region, and they're talking about it. So so I don't normally, like I said, normally I'm pretty level-headed and pretty strong, but every now and then I will get a little distraught and saddened by that, and I will have to explain that to people. Again, if someone else could get in trouble, no one will ever know.
Right.
But my situation is for the world, and it is, because I've had people from Australia call me. I've had people from the UK come here. I had people from China actually come here. I had people from
to talk to you about this.
Yes, absolutely. So those pictures are it's to serve a purpose. It's to help. It's to help people. And once I get out of my little woe is me for the moment, then I got to get back on track. And I'm like, look, have to get myself shake myself out of it and say, look, this is for a common good. This is to help someone, a grandparent, a parent. So get out of that, woe is me, my mugshot is all over, and do your job and help people, you know. Which, like I said, it doesn't happen often, but every now and then, every blue moon, I will have a little meltdown, but
you know,
I'm pretty strong.
There's a thing that I've been saying for, I don't know, all my adult life probably. You take your mess, you age it, and that is how you end up with a message.
Yeah.
You cannot have a message without having mess and it getting some age.
Absolutely, I like that.
And it doesn't really matter how much time passes. You have to have the mess. The mess has to come first.
Yes, it has to. It has to. It's so funny because I had these people, they were from India, and they worked at a gas station right down the street. And they always said, it's coming, it's coming. And I never understood. And they said, no. They said, they're from India, and they said, what we understand in our history, when something like this happens, something else is going to happen that's going to be overpowering it. And I never listened. I did listen because, of course, I have a mental note of it.
But you couldn't understand.
But I couldn't understand.
Yes.
And then when this happened, within the last several days, I'm like, is that what they were talking about? Oh my goodness, I get it. That's serious.
Yeah. That right there.
But now, mind
you have a purpose. This experience has been purposeful to many people. I'm sure this has been helpful to a whole lot of people, and having been reached out to from all over the world, it's clearly not just in Ohio.
Exactly. I've helped the situation, not the. I always thought I was just a vein to the problem. God, He uses people for whatever scenario he needs to get a point across. And even something profound to me, and I don't know if this is relevant or not, but to me it is. And I'm going to explain this to you, and I don't know how you're going to see this, and I want to see if you this analogy, if you can relate.
Right.
So it was 2011 that I was charged. Me and my father, we went to jail. It became international news. I was, of course, I was in this Great Depression or whatever, but I was judged so much, and I was judged by a particular individual who lived in that town, but just so happened he wrote the newspaper for the Beacon Journal in my town. He wrote for them, so he could write anything he wanted to write. And if you want to talk about somebody who was mean and hateful, that man was. So, fast forward it to now. Now, mind you, I just said that was 2011.
Right.
And I said that person, he will write anything he wanted to write because that was his school, that was his district, that's where he lived, and he had the pen to write whatever he wanted to write about me and my father. So, fast forward to now. This crime that happened out in California is 2000. We're in 2019.
Right.
When I listened to the FBI discuss the whole matter, how ironic! This is deep to me. How ironic that the FBI gentleman said that the singer man who started all of this, he started it in 2011. How ironic would that be?
What?
He started doing his, getting all this money and embezzling. Yes, in 2011, that year. So what was it? Do you understand? Like that?
Wow.
That is deep. But see, that's God, because my aunt always told me. She always told me the phrase. I always heard of God don't like ugly, but my aunt, she's such a sweet lady. She would always say, God don't like ugly, and he ain't too fond of pretty. That's how she would always say it. Now, And I think about that right now because I'm like, this temple busted for me. It busted for me in 2011. It went all over in 2011. I was so deep into a depression 2011, and that man was writing all these horrible articles and papers and stuff all about me. Nobody knew that man lived in that district. Nobody knew that he was saying these things for that school because he lived here, and they would call him every time he knew I was on a national show. He would call. They would call and tell, and he would make. He would write something very mean and hateful. So, to judge someone, to throw a stone at someone is deep because you don't know. You are not God. Like this person. You have never been a temperamental person, or even during that whole entire time. I never was a person that went explosive or went crazy or got upset because God kept me. He kept me sane during that time.
Right.
And but for that person to write so much and be so mean and hateful, it just amazes me at this scenario. I just knew. I went looking for the paper Sunday to see if there was something written, and it was quiet as a mouse. The man didn't write anything.
Really?
Yes, and I know he knows. He didn't write a thing.
Well, it's national news. You can't miss it.
Yes. And he didn't write a thing about me. And I thought, okay, when you get upset about some things, and sometimes you just get you pray, and you get frustrated, and you think, well, why is he doing that? But see, you don't know how things are going to work. Because when you put out bad and evil things, you don't know what's going to come back at you. I don't know what has happened to him within the last 8 years. Because let me tell you something. When I went on Ohio.com to see what this man had written, if he had at all, the only thing that he decided to write about car plates. I said, okay, good. He's writing about car plates. License plate.
Really?
Great. Yes, because I knew God handled him in some kind of way, shape, or form. I don't know. I'm just saying. I felt that. I felt that in my spirit. I'm at peace now. I can move forward from that.
Right. That's interesting. Everybody else is doing these articles and tagging you at the end of it. With this whole California scandal. Majority of the articles I've seen, you're tagged at the end of it. Your story is there. And here it is, the man that decided that he was going to, put himself in the limelight by writing so negatively about you.
Absolutely.
Nothing to say. That is interesting.
Very interesting. And it's almost like you don't have a conscience. Like you don't have a conscience. Like I would never think to do something like that to another human being. And so, because at the end of the day, you have a whole life to live. If you're lucky, you have a life to live. And if you're lucky, you want to live it. You want to live a life where you can hold your head and you can have integrity. It's about having integrity, and so it just blew my mind. I definitely wanted to mention that because that was interesting that happened. He started that in 2011, and so it's just certain things. It's like wow, okay, wow.
So again, and rightly so, they should compare the two cases and see what is going to happen in this case. For those tuning in, I do encourage you to feel free to join the conversation, the true conversation. 773-789-STEW gets you in touch. 773-789-7839. You can say hi to Kelley. Ask her a question. Tell her, wish her well. If you're shy, see, she even wants you to call.
I want you to call. You can call. I have very thick skin or tough skin. I think that's how they say it now. I've heard it. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. You can call me.
Yeah, call and say hi and give her an encouraging word. Tell her that she was crazy for doing what she did. Whatever. God, we don't judge around here. But so Kelley. Oh, and for those of you who can't call, jump on in the stew pot because the water is nice there. kevinstew.com. All right, so 8 years ago, and I would say up to the time when we spoke, around about 5 years ago, you went from, and I use this loosely, just being a regular person to being someone with a voice. Not that you didn't have a voice before, but now people hear. Now people are listening. They would hear you before and probably say you're making noise, but now people are listening because you have this aged mess that you can stand on. For you, what has changed and what is the message that you're looking to bring forward now? Because you've gotten into things like motivational speaking.
Yes. Okay, so many things have definitely changed, and then some things have always still stayed the same because I've been an advocate. I've been an advocate for education, equality of education, for many, many years.
Right.
And so I do fight for that. So I do speak, and I go different places. You know, Chicago has really showed me a lot of love. Been to Chicago quite a few times. I spoke at some churches, schools, and I've been able to resonate with the kids and tell my story. I also have, I started an annual recognition in my community. And I also, when I travel and I speak, I also ask people to do that in their communities where what it is that you recognize the kids that are doing a lot, but they're not into mischief. They're not into mischief. They're doing a lot.
Right.
And they're being very good citizens in the community because a lot of those kids are muted. We only pay attention to the kids of mischief who are getting into trouble.
This is true.
Who are getting into. So I started doing a ceremony where I give out little, certifications that has a little golden seal. It's really cute. And I have cupcakes and juice and just
You're
nice
such
little
a teacher.
refreshments.
You're such a teacher.
Yeah, and that's and I just recognize the kids that are doing great things in the community. And it could be where these kids are respectable. They know how to check up on people in their neighborhood. They know how to act in the classroom. When the bell rings, they know how to sit down. They know how to get attentive and get their material out for the class session. They are just being good kids in the community, And so if we can start recognizing, that's really big for me. And if we can start building organizations across the globally, not just here in the United States, because we got great kids all over. So if we can start recognizing these kids all over and stop giving the attention to these kids that are aggressive or more, we can give them the right kind of attention.
Right.
We can give them the proper tools that maybe we can try to figure out why they're why they have severe behaviors. But, I get that. But at the same time, we can't mute the kids. We can't ignore the kids that are really just getting through school or life and no one's paying attention because they're so worried about Junior over here because he's acting up. Well, we're going to get him taken care of. But we want to recognize this one over here because this one over here is really doing things. Not only that, once those kids that are acting out are seeing the attention that we're giving these kids over here that are doing good, that are good citizens, that have good citizenship, and they may want to turn themselves around. And I get it. We got a lot of kids. We got a lot of kids now that parents are not in the community. They're not there. Maybe they're in jail. Maybe they're on drugs. Maybe they're selling drugs. Who knows? There's a lot to understand, you know. But that in itself is why I plant a seed to each and every child, and especially when I have my ceremony, when I have my ceremonies, my celebrations, and I give these certifications out to these kids. It's something that I always tell the kids, and I can't yell this loud enough. Each child, I want them to know that you are not a product of which you were born into, and that you must realize that when you turn 18, you have the world. You have the world at your hand, and you must understand that. So you're not a product of what you are living in, even though it may seem like it's forever and a day. You know, your mom is on drugs, your dad is on drugs, they're being mean to you. Maybe you're in foster care. Maybe the foster care people are being mean to you. Maybe, you know, you got peer pressure at school. Maybe the kids are being hateful. Maybe the teachers are bullies. Don't just that out. We got grown teachers that have issues.
Right.
You know, it's a lot to take in. So just understand that when you turn 18, you have the world. Do not think that your little area that you live in now that's it and that's all. Never think that, you know, never think that. Just understand that you don't have to be a product of what you were born into. And you can go out and do great things. And actually, you can come back into your community and you can change your own community around. You can change that. You can help change it. Just be a staple, you know. So that's one of the things I'm very intent and I have a passion for is having that and talking to people and seeing if people would be would be interested in doing that in their community and having a ceremony, a celebration, a citizenship award ceremony where they acknowledge greatness, they acknowledge kids that are doing positive things. Because let me tell you, it's infectious, it's contagious, and other kids is going to want that. And next year they're going to want to see if they are the ones. It's no different. It's no different than if you see Hollywood. When Hollywood or what is that? When you get
the Grammys,
all these different things, and they're getting recognized, and they're getting the awards, and they're getting the all these awards. Well, you know what? The next, maybe they didn't get anything. Maybe a particular actor didn't get best whatever, and then next year he does because he doesn't stop. And it's no different. It's just in a regular neighborhood situation that they will look and strive for greatness the following year. They want to be recognized. You understand?
It's true.
Yeah.
Your daughters are now teenagers. And
right. They are young. They are young ladies now. They are in their 20s. Can you believe it?
Wait, what?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
My daughter is 20 and 20. Yes. They are young ladies
goodness.
Now. Time flew. Yes.
Jeez. Wow. So they're out there. Have you seen where you have had this influence in them where they saw you go through what you went through for them, basically?
Yes.
Were they bitter against the system?
You know, and honestly, I believe that we all should have got some kind of counseling, and we didn't. I believe my daughter should have gotten counseling. I believe that, and I didn't do it at the time. I was so withdrawn, and I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that they needed help. But they are they're great now. I mean, they're successful. They're doing good. One thing that I think that they don't have fear. They don't have fear like an average child would have fear. So they would go out and they would do things without being hesitant because of all that they've seen mommy do. You know, all the things they've seen me do, all the trials and tribulations I've been through with this. It made them, they have an armor on them that they don't even recognize. And I don't even say anything. I don't say that to them. I just let them be strong women.
Right.
Because I see that they have something great in them that they don't even realize that they have, because but again, if this had never happened, I think that I will have to push them more to be to be stronger. But since that did happen, it gave them a stronger backbone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. See, more reason for you to go through what you went through.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
So.
And to help change laws. Yes.
Yes.
You know, I was a part. I helped change the laws in Connecticut. I helped change laws.
Did you?
And yes. I was a big influencer for that law to be changed in Connecticut. If I'm correct, I think it was like 6 states that could send you to the jail, and Connecticut was one. Ohio, of course. I think Jersey could have been. And it's a few more. And so now Connecticut is not Pennsylvania. PA, they are one, and they're working on that law now. So, yeah, I'm really happy and proud to know that I have a voice and that people can listen and maybe, you know, and have the law changed, the bill looked at and revised.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I love it. And I have a YouTube channel. I don't know if I told you that. I have a YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm living my life, right?
Look at you. What you talking about on the YouTube channel?
It's called K for the Kids. It's KAY, the number 4, and then for the kids. So it's K for the Kids.
Right.
And I, when I just talk about, what's going on in the schools, whatever happened that day. I'll bring it up and get, I'll vent a little bit. I'll get frustrated. It's, because we got some kids that just their language is out of control. And so, I might talk about that, or I might talk about, how great you can be. And so if anyone is listening and you have children, you have teens, and you think that maybe the teens may need to hear something inspiring, tell them to watch. I'm talking to the kids. I want them to understand, because see, a lot of kids don't have parents. A lot of kids, they're in these foster care situations, or maybe the parents are working all the time. So if they hear what I'm saying, they can just help. All it's going to do is help. All it's going to do is add and help to rearing your child, because it's not. Because sometimes if someone else say it, they can receive it differently than when they hear it from their parents. It's like, oh yeah, you say it all the time. But if they hear a voice of reason from a whole different individual, then all of a sudden they get it. The light goes off. Oh, I understand now.
Yeah.
But your parents
it's always funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Parents say, as a parent, no, I get to do this. We say things. I've been a parent a long time too, but not as long as you. But we are saying these things to our children, and the neighbor comes by and says it one time. We've been saying it like their whole life. The neighbor says it one time, and it's gospel.
And it's gospel. It's like eureka. It's like a light bulb goes off.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, did you hear me? And then they'll come back to you and tell you what they said verbatim. And it's like, wait a minute. I've been telling you this
for
years.
Right.
I didn't say it like that. No, I did say it like that.
Just like that. You didn't use this tone.
Exactly.
That's it right there. You didn't use this tone. You need to use this tone, and then it will be different. So how would you define the paradigm shift? It's a phrase that you like to use. In fact, you have that hashtag that you put out sometimes. The paradigm shift.
Yeah. Okay. So so when you are in a scenario in your life, you have to understand. You have to see a lot of words people don't even use, so you don't understand. It's not relevant because you never hear it. But when you hear something, try to utilize it. And if you've been in a certain situation all your life, again, you don't have to be in that situation. You can shift the paradigm. So shifting the paradigm, what is a paradigm? Paradigm is basically where something has been a certain way for a very long time, and you decide to you decide
to influence a change.
Yes, you enter. Yes, thank you. Because I was going to say something else and I didn't want to say that. Yes, you make a change and you insert yourself into this, and you make the change. You don't wait for somebody to come and change you, or you make this change, and we all have it in us that we can make that change.
Right.
So that's why I always say the paradigm, shift the paradigm. You have to shift the paradigm. And I say that word a lot because in our community, that word is not prevalent at all. And you have to know it. You have to, certain words we don't know. We have not been.
Well, it's not a hip word.
It's not a hip word.
It's not thuggish enough. It's not, and it's funny. There are certain things that are associated with and being a new member to this community. But it's similar where I come from. If it is hype on the streets, then it's good to go.
Right.
And for you to bring something that isn't at street level, it's like, take that uptown, take that to the other people. In this country, it's take that to the other people.
Exactly. But I want the inner city. I want to open up something in their mind that they need to. You know, if I had known about this paradigm when I was a young person, imagine who I could have been or what I could have achieved. So you say it to the youngsters, you say it to them, and they got a head shot, they got a running chance, a head start.
But you know what?
Because what?
You had it at the right time, because if you had it then you wouldn't have had the opportunity to make these changes in these 6 states.
Right. And yes, that's valid. Yes, that's very true.
So there's no way for you to be effective or as effective as you are that you should have had this as a child. Then you'd have missed this calling.
Right. And that is so true, too. That is very true. Because the only thing I remember, I mean, my father and my mom, they did a lot of profound things as far as, teaching us and rearing us. But one thing, it was one phrase my father always said to me and my brother. He always said, thoughts become things with wings that fly.
Say that again.
Yes, thoughts become things with wings that fly.
Yes.
Now, I don't know where he made that up at, because my dad was funny. He made up stuff. I've never heard it nowhere else, so I assume that I've never heard it in that way, ever. So
that is deep.
Isn't it deep, though? Thoughts become things with wings that fly, so you must envision it if you want to have it.
Right.
You must envision it, and you must see it in your mind if you want to create it, and it comes to fruition.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. It makes you think.
Me too.
I like
Absolutely.
that. Was that something that your father told you as a child?
Yes, well, as a youngster, really young, elementary, young.
See?
He would say it all the time.
This is why, as parents, we need to talk to our children. Because it doesn't really matter what they do. Have one thing that you say to them all the time and see what kind of difference it makes.
Yep, and they will forever remember it. They will forever remember it, because I will never forget him telling me that. And so what did I do? I told my kids. And so what did my youngest daughter do? She went and got a tattoo. She put that on her. I didn't tell her to put a tattoo on. She decided to go get a tattoo. And she put that phrase on her body. I was like, why would you do that? Like, I didn't tell you to do that.
It's not what you tell them to do. Remember now, they have this younger generation has a mindset that that is what our parents and our grandparents used to say about us.
Yeah, they sure do.
They have
They sure
this
do.
mindset that we just can't understand it. Yeah, we have become our parents and our grandparents. And
Yeah,
I just
absolutely.
put myself in a category that oh boy. As boy, oh boy. But it's true.
Yeah.
And I can't run from it much longer. Just have to embrace it. But we have become our parents and our grandparents and not understanding where our children are. But they're exactly where they need to be.
Yeah, at that stage. And, you know, and it's something else I want to tell people.
Mhm.
I've been in a couple of documentaries, but one thing I'm most proud of is since my journey, you know, I've had books, well, I have two books, but the one book is all about the education, so that's the one I talk about
The mom.
right now. Yes, the mom. That's on Amazon.
Yes.
And also, and I have documentaries out there with on Netflix, and one is called. I'm just a part of it. Like they asked me to sit in. You know, I'm just a part of it. One is called. Oh my gosh, The Truth About Lies. That one was on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's still on there because it was on there for about 5 years. I don't know how long they keep it running. The other one is, I know for sure the other one is definitely still on, and that one is called Prison's Guide. The Prison's Guide, The Guide to Prison, or something like that. The Guide to Prison. And you check that out. It just talks about, you know, if you're in a situation like that, what you need to do. But honestly, I personally think that they need to have a documentary of how you communicate with the law. That's my personal opinion.
With the law?
Yes, I think we need to have, because that documentary was talking about, like, if you get arrested and what you need to know. And it was informational. It was good, and I was a part of it. But I personally believe that we need to have a documentary on how you speak if you get stopped by an officer.
Well,
period.
You know, Kelley, I have a view on that. And the view is simple. The language changes from class to class, demographic to demographic. The language that is spoken in the inner city in communication with the law is different from the language that is spoken in the six-figure suburbs or the seven-figure suburbs. The language is different.
It's different, but if I can say this, when I was growing up, I grew up in different states. I grew up in Georgia, I grew up in North Carolina, and I grew up here in Ohio. When I lived here in Ohio, I see, even now to this day, I see kids being disrespectful when they communicate with an officer.
Right.
And I don't understand that. And let me tell you something. When I lived in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and you have the MPs, you have the regular sheriffs, you have the city PDs, and is another one? I don't know, but for sure you got those three, right? So
That's a military tone.
you have,
So that was a military tone?
Yes, Fort Bragg.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So growing up there, we were taught at a very young age how to communicate, how to talk to an officer if you get pulled over. Because, first of all, being that that's a military town, you have many, many MPs and many, many sheriffs and police officers. It's a lot there.
Right.
So your chances of getting pulled over is pretty high. Okay, so they told us how to communicate, how to talk, and be respectable. You know, be respectable, and so you could get home. So you could, now, mind you, North Carolina, that's in the South.
Right.
And so they wanted us to learn how to talk to the police officers. Not just me, my brother. I have a brother. He's a big boy, and that was one thing they was always worried about because he's a big black man. So they wanted to make sure that he would communicate properly with an officer, because your whole idea is get home. The whole idea is to get home. If you want to fight a situation, go to court and fight it. Your chances of fighting a situation on the street with a man who has a gun and he's still a human being, he's like, who knows? So we have to, and who knows what he's about? Like you said, who knows what his background is? Who knows if he's a racist? Who knows? So try your best to get home. Fight that, and if you want to fight that ticket, fight it in court. But don't try to fight that man, because 9 out of 10, you're gonna lose.
You're gonna lose.
So,
you're gonna lose.
You're gonna lose. So I personally believe that we need to have classes in school at a young age. Start implanting those things. This is how you need to conduct yourself when you see an officer. Period. Plant the seed. Rather the kid want to be in denial at that moment, rather they want to fuss about it, rather they want to, go up against the grain at that moment while you're trying to teach that. Hey, it's no different than any other lesson. So let them bump their hands while they're young. But you're planting the seed of how you need to be. But when you turn 16 or 17 and you have your license, you know how to conduct yourself out in the public. That needs to be a class. That needs to be either on another documentary or a class.
But
Kelley,
that is Respect 101. Because it starts in the home.
But look at the stats on that. Look at the numbers.
That's the unfortunate part. That right there is the unfortunate part.
So since that's not so since we know as a nation, we know that this is not panning out how parents should teach them that. We get that. So how can we help change this? How can we help change this? But I mean that's just something I threw out there. Hey, who knows what's going to happen out here? But one thing I do want to say, this is why I was getting to the documentaries. This is my joy. That wasn't my joy. The documentaries, no. I'm about to tell you my true joy, my true love. Yeah. I went on a cooking show. I went on a cooking competition show, and it was called, Nailed It.
Mm-hmm.
And it was released back in the, I think it was released back in the fall. And I was so ecstatic, okay? And again, it's shifting the paradigm. Again, it's telling people you don't have to be a certain way in life. You have many, many talents. Show your talent. Show people who you are. And show people it doesn't matter your socioeconomic it doesn't matter your socioeconomic background of the person who you can create to be.
Right.
So I went on the cooking show. I had a blast. It was fun. And looking back at it, every time they interviewed me, I talked about the kids, because kids are I am so involved with kids.
Yeah, but that is your passion, though.
It's my passion. But when I went back to the classroom, and when that was released, I told them, I said, listen, you know me as Miss Williams. You know me in this classroom. You don't see me beyond this classroom. You probably think I sleep, eat, and live in this building.
Mm-hmm.
But I live outside of my block. I live outside of my hood, kids' hood.
Right.
I live outside of my hood. So I want them to know you can live outside of your hood. That corner is not your corner. If that police decide to come in and tear that corner up, ain't nothing you can do but go to the next corner and try to tell somebody you claim it. You don't claim nothing. Just claim your destiny. Claim the person who you can be.
Yes.
Okay? So that's why I tell them, I'm not telling them to go audition for a cooking show. That's not what I'm telling them to do. But what I'm telling them to do is you don't have to be set in stone of one person. You can be great and be many ways. Who knows? You might find your real niche and blossom. But don't just think this corner here is that's it, that's all, because it can't just be my neighborhood that the kids feel that way. It has to be a national thing. I believe on every block and in any inner city, kids think this is my hood, this is my red, this is my food, don't come over here wearing that, or this and that and the other. And that's all that. That's the system trying to keep you dumbed down. But if you know better, you're going to do better. So that's
Right.
why as long as God has me breathing, I will always dedicate that and tell that on every line. If I have the opportunity when I speak and I talk about what happened, I always try to get that out too, and to tell these kids that you can go be great and be anything you want to be, and that you don't have to be a product of what you were born into. No,
Yes.
I'm not a cook either. I'm not a cook. I just did it for fun, and I made it to the next round, and I made it to the next round, and the next thing you know, I was in L.A., and next thing you know, I won the first round when I was out there. But yes, I did lose. I didn't win the whole thing. I didn't win. It was money involved, like 10 grand. I didn't win, but I was so proud to go back home and tell my kids, hey, I tried, and I tried outside the box.
Yep.
I just did it. And I have to let them know, just do it. Just try it. Don't think Akron is, or wherever you're at, don't think that's it.
Yes. The world is your oyster. Not just this
That's
little corner
right.
that you're in right now.
Good grief, that's right. And then you just have to see it. And boy, once you get out in it, you may not ever go back home because you be so happy, you know?
Listen. I miss my home. I miss the land of my birth. But just like you said, that's not all there is to it.
That's right.
Let's go. Let's get out there. Let's get out there and make a difference. And not just any old difference. You want to make a positive difference.
That's right. Make a positive difference. Go back. You know, now you hear a lot of people saying, I'm not going to say anything to that person because these kids are crazy, and I understand that. And you have to have the
They are, though.
You have to have right, but you have to have the sense to know that if that person is teachable, and if you have the sense, if you use your senses, if you know that person is teachable, and you feel that person has the potential, then you should correct them. I'm not telling you to go talk to somebody who's walking around, you know, just ready to attack someone. But what I am saying is, if each one can go out and teach one, and if you know you can teach that person, if that person is teachable,
yes,
say it. Plant a seed and keep your life going. Plant a seed, keep going. Plant a seed, keep going. You don't know what kind of impact you're going to have on that child.
Definitely. Kelley, tell us, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you if they want to reach out to you.
You can contact me via email. It is my whole entire name. It is Kelley, Kelley, Williams with an S, Bolar, B as in boy, Olar. I know it was super long. I don't know why I did that, but I did. But anyway, it's Kelley Williams-Bolar.
You're the only one, I can tell you that.
At gmail.com. You can, and again, you can go on my social media. You can instant message me on my Facebook, or you can. I have Cape for the Kids on YouTube. You can check me out on YouTube. There's many ways you can contact me. I speak. I travel. I have a passport. I can go outside the country if you need me to be there. So.
And if someone wants to just talk to you one-on-one, use the same method.
Yes. If someone wants to talk to me one-on-one, they can use the same method. And even if they have issues with their child and they want me to talk to their child, I'll talk to their child. I will talk to their child. People don't know that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. See? Hey, listen, she's as approachable as she sounds. And to me, she sounds really approachable. That's how we met. I just approached her. and
that's right.
Look how long that has been. Jeez. My goodness.
That's right.
You girls are adults now. I feel old. Jeez, boy.
Me too. Woo, me too. But and we're gonna always stay in contact. You know, I want to always.
Definitely.
If I can contribute any time and stuff, you know, and help in any way, shape, or form, I want to always be able to do that, because it's all about changing lives. You know, that's I'm a motivator. I speak. I try to help people change their life, because if they see me come out, if they know that I can come out of a drastic change like that, where I mean, there's actual videotape. There's actual videotape of me crying and screaming, and the sheriff and them having to, basically carry me out of the courtroom. If I can come out of that deep, dark depression of and losing my daddy, if I can, try to and bring happiness to someone else and show what happened to me, and stuff, and want to motivate others, because people are in depressions in many different ways. So if I can help them come out of that, like I did a young girl, I know our time is wiring down, but it was so beautiful. It was a young girl. She was a freshman, and she was so depressed, and she thought nobody could identify. And so I had to take her out of, it was in science, I had to take her out of the science room, and I pulled her to another room, and I wanted to know. She was hard as a shell. She would never break. Never, never, never. And I just said, let me tell you something, little young lady. I said, I have been through some stuff too. And then I told her, and I showed her. No, I didn't show her. I just told her, and I told her to go look me up. She came back the next day with her guard down. She was more motivated. She was happy. She could identify. She knew she wasn't the only person that was having issues in life.
Right.
I'm not saying that I'm your go-to person all the time. I'm not saying I'm the best person you can ever talk to. But what I am saying is I can identify. And if I can identify with you, then you should be able to identify with me. And that should be able to make you want to keep stepping, because one day you're going to be able to help someone else too.
Yes.
And that's what I was trying to tell her, that you're going to be able to help what you're going through, no matter what it is, you're going to be able to help someone else in their trial and tribulation. Why? Because you're going to be able to relate with them, and they're going to be able to relate with you.
Yes.
That's why we're here. That's the humanitarianship of what a human is supposed to be. We're supposed to help each other.
And the crowd goes wild.
Okay.
Kelley, you see, this is why people call you up to go all over to talk. This right here, these closing words right here.
Thank you.
These make a difference.
I just gotta keep that going and keep that momentum, because that's hard. That's coming from deep in me, and that's real.
Listen, all we ask is just that, for you to be your authentic self, because that is the only way you're gonna help.
Right.
And
That's
that is
right.
what you've been doing. So
thank you.
On this first day of spring in 2019, I want to say,
yes,
keep on doing what you've been doing. Because
Thank you.
every time someone hears you speak, you plant another seed, and you have influenced that much change. And that's all
Yeah.
you need to do.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you.
That just fuels me. That just keeps me moving.
Well, thank you for keep moving. Because you could have given up in that courthouse. That could have been it.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
you got through that. You could have given up when you got locked up. That could have been it. You moved through that.
That could have been it.
You could have
Absolutely,
given up
because I
when your
remember-
father passed.
Oh.
But you
I
still
made a
kept
promise to
on.
fight for him too, because he wanted to help so much. Like, he had went and got a 501c3. He went and got a nonprofit organization. He wanted to help. He wanted to help inner city kids. He had the whole thing. You know, he really, really was involved in the community. He wanted to help kids and stuff. And so when he passed away, right before he passed away, I remember him telling me, and this is emotional, and I really never discussed it before, but I'm going to say this. He looked at me. He was in a chair, and he told me. He said, "I'm handing you my torch." And I said, "No." I said, "No, absolutely not. No. I don't want to hear that. No." I said, "You're coming home. Everything is fine." He was like, "No, my journey here is over." You know, and he didn't come home. So he knew more than what I knew, because I thought he was going to come home, and I thought everything was going to be fine. But you know, maybe and that is why I have that gas in me to keep going and to do what I do, because it's because of him, because he loves our youth.
Yeah. See? Through you, he lives on.
Yeah.
Comment in the chat here. Would have loved to know how her children were affected by all that happened. I think you touched on that. But go ahead.
We did, but I can kind of tell it again. Is that they I can say this too. Is that when it happened, you know, you had teachers, you had their peers. They were saying things. They were being mean because they were kids. So a lot of the peers would say certain things, you know, and stuff. And I saw your mom shot, and is your mom still in jail? And you know, just little spiteful little things, you know, because kids are kids,
right?
And they don't understand that can hurt, you know. Maybe they do understand it, but they still don't get it. So they just want to be mean, just be mean. And so I would try to explain that to my daughters and stuff, but. You know, like, you know, they've become, right now, they really are in a great place, and they got through it. And I mentioned earlier, I think, honestly, I fell short. I should have gotten them counseling. Right. I should have gotten counseling, but instead, I was so deep into this depression. I mean, like, literally, where I was just in my bed, in my bedroom, just rehashing it day by day, step by step. Why didn't I do this? How come I didn't do that? Well, why didn't I do that? Well, how come I didn't do that? Well, I could have said that. Well, when he said that, I could have said this. That's exactly how I lived for a very long time. And I forgot I wasn't the mom I should have been with them, and I was always that mom that was so engulfed and entwined in my girl's life, and I fell short of that for a while. If you let my youngest one tell it, she'll say I was not a part of their life for maybe a year. You know, like she said that I was physically there, but my mental state was not there. And I hate that, you know.
You know what?
But I try to do things now, even now with them. I try to do a lot with them to try to make up for that.
I want, if they're down for it, I'd love to get the three of you on the phone one day. And
absolutely.
So we can get the story from their eyes.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So I'd love to have them on. Tell them I want to have them on, and just let me know when we can do it.
I sure will.
And we'll make that happen.
Okay, I sure will. I will most definitely let them know tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kelley Williams-Bolar, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only. Some of you thought she wasn't real. Yeah, she's very real. They didn't just make her up on social media or in the news. She's very real. And you can reach out to her. Like she said, her email, use her full name at gmail.com. Look her up on social media, drop her a line. And she'll respond. She's approachable like that. She will respond.
Yes, I am.
You can if you just go ahead and say hello to Julie in the stew pot for me, please.
Hi, Julie. Julianne, that's a pretty name. Hi. Thank you for the question too.
Yeah. Julie is cool peoples. And I don't know where everybody else went. Marlon disappeared. Marlon said it's a very moving show. Good job. Thanks to you, Kelley. Thanks. This is the time when I do musical therapy, and there's a song by a lady by the name of Tamara Brown, and Tamara is the wife of the lead singer of Third World, AJ Brown. And there's a song that she did called "Crown Me," which I think is quite appropriate to close out this segment of this show with you as a special guest tonight. So I'm gonna play this song, Crown Me.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Because yeah, you deserve one. If you're not wearing yours right now, I think you should put it on. Let me not say you deserve one. I know you have one. You just need to take it out and wear it with pride.
I'm gonna have to get me one.
Well,
thank you so much, and I really appreciate you having me on. It was an honor.
The pleasure is all mine. So you take care. Talk to your daughters. Let me know what they say.
Okay, sure will. All right, have a good night. Bye, everybody.
All right, you too. Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, Kelley Williams-Bolar. And right now, let me see. We have 10 minutes left in the night shift week. Thanks to the Wake Up and Live show for sponsoring this segment of the show. The previous segment was brought to you by JTMC Enterprises. I want to say thank you to them. Truly appreciative of it. Like I said, Tamara B, Crown Me. This is a song that we're going to start the musical therapy. And it's an abbreviated musical therapy, but we're going to work through it nonetheless, yeah? Cool. This is AJ Brown. You heard him providing supporting vocals for his wife and Crown Me.
Waiting for the winds of fortune.
Talk about a tribute song. This is Nubian Queen.
Take my will with sail. I'm reminded how blessed I am as I soak in my rain of sorrow. I see your smiling face there, and I see.
Yes, Julian, she is courageous.
You were sent by the Father to be my life partner, my Nubian queen. All right, for my love, my life, virtuous
tick a bush. Yeah. Woman, you should know you were not chosen just because of your pretty looks. You're the perfect balance between.
4 minutes to the top of the hour. I want to say thank you to each and everyone for locking in tonight and this week.
Yes, a perfect balance between.
Truly appreciate of you.
Confidence and compassion.
That's what I encourage you to look out for your neighbors. And your neighbors are not just the people that live in your community, live in your development. They spread far and wide. Those that you pass on the bus, on the plane, on the boat, on the train, or that you walk, ride, or drive.
You're my virtuous wife, my Nubian queen.
These are all your neighbors. Do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's gonna do something good for you tomorrow.
My Nubian queen.
As usual, I want to encourage you to be good. But if you can't be good at it. My name is DJ Kevin Stewart, so I like to do it to you, for you, with you.
I can see through the eyes of a.
Do remember to catch me Monday. We'll do it all over again. Community and finance. And on Monday we get treated to some time with Enzo.
To be fruitful.
Yeah, I don't think you want to miss this.
As I live and breathe life's providence, I am filled with lost patience. Yeah, I will live each present with pride, knowing you'll always be by my side. You are sent by the Father to be my life partner.
Leaving you with the wild tree. It's called Woman's Worth. Y'all take care. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. Peace and love. Remember, catch Sarah Rockwell tomorrow morning, bright and early, with the Wake Up and Live show. 7 a.m. He kicks it off with the Giving Thanks segment. Super Thursday, Friday Eve. Catch y'all later. Take care.
What's a woman supposed to do when the world got mad confused? She have to pick herself up, dust her clothes off, and get on the move.
It is a woman's worth that shines so bright. It is a woman's worth and spreads her light. It is a woman. It is a woman. It is a woman's worth. Yeah. Jana, she's giving everything of herself.
The moment is priceless. Consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.